Alex stood at the edge of the clearing, the last fingers of twilight caressing the rugged Yukon landscape. Towering pines pierced the horizon, their tips brushing a canvas of deep indigo. The wind whispered through the needles, a soft chorus that spoke to the solitude he had sought and found in this remote sanctuary. He breathed deeply, the crisp air filling his lungs with the pure essence of the untamed wilderness surrounding him. As darkness settled like a shroud over the forest, Alex's eyes, ever alert, traced the familiar constellations now twinkling to life above. A lifetime of navigating by these celestial bodies had honed his senses, attuning him to the slightest anomaly in the night sky. And then it came, a streak of unnatural brilliance cleaving the silence. A fiery tail blazed behind it, carving a searing path across heavens before plunging towards Earth. The object, glowing and fierce, crashed into the nearby woods with a force that shook the ground under Alex's feet. Instincts honed from years as an Air Force pilot surged through his veins. This was no meteorite. Its trajectory was too controlled, too purposeful. His heart pounded a rapid tattoo against his ribcage as adrenaline flooded his system, ready for action. With practiced efficiency, he grabbed his emergency first aid kit, always stocked, always within reach. He plunged into the forest, boots thudding on the soft loam as he navigated the labyrinth of trees and underbrush. Each step propelled him closer to the unknown, his mind racing with possibilities. What had just breached the serene bubble of his secluded existence? The scent of charred wood threaded through the cool night air, guiding him unerringly to the crash site. Moonlight filtered through the canopy, casting eerie shadows that danced around him, yet his focus never wavered. The years of disciplined training, of cool-headedness in the cockpit, steadied his resolve. Emerging into a small clearing, Alex stopped abruptly, his breath catching at the sight before him. The mysterious object lay embedded in the earth, its hull glowing faintly, as if still holding on to the heat of atmospheric entry. The craft was unlike anything terrestrial, sleek, metallic, otherworldly. Cautiously, Alex approached, his gaze scanning the wreckage for movement. Any survivors? His military background had drilled into him the importance of swift medical assistance, and it didn't matter to him now whether the injured party would be human or something else entirely. Life was life, and he was here to render aid. He knelt beside the downed craft, the first aid kit at the ready, his senses alert for any sign of life. His hand moved towards the jagged opening that marred the ship's side, every nerve in his body taut with anticipation. "Hello?" His voice, firm yet imbued with compassion, cut through the stillness, seeking contact, offering help. Whatever the response, Alex was prepared. He had faced the unknown before, up in the skies, and now he faced it here, on the soil he loved. A glimmer of light caught Alex's attention as he peered into the dim recesses of the alien craft. Amidst the chaos of twisted metal and flickering circuitry, a figure lay crumpled against the bulkhead. The being's skin shimmered like an oil slick on water, reflecting the moonlight that filtered through the forest canopy above. His heart thundering with a mix of adrenaline and empathy, Alex reached out to the extraterrestrial form, his hands steady despite the surreal situation. "Hey, can you hear me?" Alex's voice was calm, a practiced, soothing tenor honed from years of radio communication. The figure stirred, limbs moving with a fluid grace that belied their injuries. Carefully, he hoisted the alien into his arms, her body light as though gravity held less claim upon her. With meticulous care, he navigated through the dense underbrush back towards his cabin, each step measured to avoid further harm. Once inside, he laid the visitor on his couch, the contrast between her ethereal presence and the rustic wood interior striking. He rummaged through his first aid kit, but froze when the alien stirred again, a small device clutched in her hand, lighting up with an array of symbols. "Please, do not be alarmed," came a voice, synthesized yet tinged with a soft accent that flowed like music through the translator. Alex's eyes widened as the alien Zara, she called herself, began to recount her tale in broken fragments of speech that grew more coherent with every passing moment. "Norath, my home," Zara explained, her voice gaining strength. "I am fleeing tyranny, oppression." Her gaze locked onto Alex's, imploring him to understand the gravity of her words. The leader fears what I may start a rebellion. Alex listened intently, his own experience with high-stakes missions allowing him to grasp the weight of her predicament. A rogue element, alone and hunted, was something he could relate to all too well. "Who is after you?" Alex asked, the protector instinct ingrained in him surfacing once again. "A bounty hunter," Zara responded, her shimmering skin casting prismatic colors across the Spartan room as she shifted in discomfort. "Sent by the government of Norath. They will stop at nothing to see me captured or killed." Her disclosure hung heavy in the air, mingled with the faint scent of pine from outside and the metallic tang of blood. In that moment, a bond formed between the earthbound loner and the interstellar fugitive, both marked by their defiance against forces greater than themselves. "Rest now," Alex said, his decision already made. He would help her, just as he had committed to helping any soul in distress during his service days. "You're safe here." But even as he uttered the words, Alex knew that safety was a fleeting luxury, and the pursuit of it was about to become their shared crucible. A hush had fallen over the Yukon wilderness, a stillness that belied the arrival of a hunter. Concealed by the brush, the stealthy ship settled with barely a whisper, its contours blurring against the backdrop of dense forest. The bounty hunter within was a whisper of danger incarnate, a shadow moving through shadows, his presence betrayed only by the faintest distortion of light where his vessel's advanced camouflage technology bent reality. Within Alex's cabin, the calm was abruptly shattered by a shrill chirp from Zara's device. Her eyes, wide with urgency, met Alex's as she tapped rapidly on the glowing screen. "He is here," she said, her voice a taut wire of tension. "The bounty hunter has arrived on Earth." Alex felt a cold prickle run down his spine. His gaze hardened, the pilot within him calculating odds and strategies in the span of a heartbeat. "How do you know?" he asked, rising to his feet, every sense alert. "His ship emits a unique energy signature," Zara explained, her fingers dancing across the device. "I can detect it. It's close." "Can he track us here?" Alex asked, moving towards the window, scanning the tree line for any signs of disturbance. "Not yet," Zara replied, "but we must act quickly." She turned the device toward Alex, showing him a series of pulsating lines and graphs. "I must send a distress signal to Norath before he triangulates my location." "Will they receive it in time?" The question hung between them, as real as the walls that provided their temporary sanctuary. Zara's shimmering skin seemed to glow brighter, a beacon of resolve. "They will if I can encode it correctly." Her fingers flew over the surface, initiating a countdown sequence. "I have to mask the transmission frequency. It will take 3 minutes. If we can secure those, the message will be away and hidden from his scanners." 3 minutes, Alex echoed, his mind racing through possibilities. He grabbed his jacket, slipping into it with practiced ease. "We'll need a better position to buy you that time." Together they hurried outside, Zara clutching the device like a lifeline. Alex led the way, his strides long and sure as they moved deeper into the forest. They found a small clearing with a rock outcrop, a natural barrier that would give them a measure of cover. "Send your message," Alex urged, his eyes scanning the horizon, while his hand instinctively rested on the hunting knife at his belt. Zara worked furiously, her deft movements weaving an intricate web of digital subterfuge. With each passing second, the serene night air grew heavier, charged with the electric hum of impending peril. "Done," she breathed out, relief mingling with fear. "Now we wait." "Let's hope they're listening," Alex murmured, his gaze never leaving the dark embrace of the Yukon, where unseen threats lurked beneath the beauty of the wild. The night had turned into a relentless game of cat and mouse, each move choreographed by the primal need to survive. Alex's breath misted in the frigid air as he led Zara through the dense underbrush, his boots sinking silently into the mossy soil. The bounty hunter was an ever-present shadow, his pursuit as silent as it was persistent. "Stay low," Alex whispered, motioning towards a thicket veiled by tendrils of silver fog. They crouched together, Zara's shimmering skin dulled beneath the camouflage netting Alex had insisted she wear. His heart thundered against his ribs, not just from exertion, but from the raw edge of fear that this might be their final stand if discovered. A sudden crackle of a branch in the distance sent them sprawling deeper into concealment. Alex peered through the dense foliage, his former pilot's eyes searching for any sign of movement. The bounty hunter knew his craft, utilizing technology and skill to move like a wraith through the woods. But Alex knew these lands, each tree and hidden gully an ally in their evasion. "Alex," Zara said, her voice barely audible over the device secured around her neck. "We must keep moving." He nodded, appreciating her courage despite the gravity of their situation. With a terse gesture, they were on the move again, pushing further into the wild, where the faint light of the stars struggled to penetrate the thick canopy above. Hours passed with the constant tension of near encounters, each one leaving them more drained, yet fueled by the hope of rescue. It wasn't until the pre-dawn hours, as the first tentative chirps of waking birds began to fill the silence, that Zara's device vibrated against her chest. "Alex, a response from Norath," she gasped, her fingers trembling as she read the message on the screen. "A ship. It's coming." "All right, we need to plan our next steps carefully," Alex said, his mind already racing with tactical evaluations. "We've got one chance at this, Zara. We need to find a landing zone, one that keeps you out of sight until your ride arrives." They settled in a cave, a temporary respite hidden by an outcropping of rocks and the thick drapery of pines. Here, they strategized, Alex detailing the terrain features while Zara listened intently, her alien intellect quickly adapting to the foreign concepts of Earth's geography. "Here," Alex pointed to a spot on the map spread between them, a clearing large enough for a ship but obscured by natural formations. "It's a hike, but it's our best shot." Zara nodded, her eyes reflecting the steely resolve that had made her a leader among her people. "Let's prepare then. What do we need?" "Distractions." Alex's gaze met hers, fierce and unflinching. "I'll set traps, create false trails, anything to throw him off our scent." "Be careful," Zara cautioned, her hand brushing his arm, a fleeting touch charged with gratitude and concern. "Always am," Alex replied, offering her a half-smile before slipping out of the cave to lay down misdirections that would lead the bounty hunter astray. As the sky brightened with the promise of dawn, Alex returned, his traps set and their route planned. Together they shouldered their meager belongings, ready for what might come. This was it, their final push to the clearing that promised salvation from above. "Keep your head down and follow my lead," Alex said, the weight of responsibility settling upon him like a mantle. "It's not much further now." With the first rays of sunlight filtering through the trees, they moved with renewed urgency, every sense attuned to the possibility of discovery. But there was also something else, a flicker of hope that danced with the morning light, guiding them onward toward an uncertain yet hopeful horizon. Thunderous heartbeats echoed through the dense Yukon forest as Alex and Zara sprinted towards the clearing. The relentless crunch of underbrush beneath their feet was a drumbeat to their desperate escape. They had been mere ghosts among the trees, but now they were prey at the precipice of being caught. "Almost there," Alex gasped, his breath pluming in the chill air. His pilot's instincts melded with the primal urge for survival, every muscle fiber in his body prepared for the confrontation that loomed ahead. Zara, her shimmering skin dulled by exertion and fear, nodded. Her eyes, wide with the knowledge of what was at stake, mirrored the sky's deepening hue as dusk approached. Each step she took was a silent vow to her people, a promise of resistance and hope. A sudden crackle of displaced stones betrayed their pursuer's position. The bounty hunter, a specter cloaked in silence, emerged from the shadows with a predatory grace. His advanced technology shimmered with deadly intent, and he raised an arm to aim his weapon. "Down!" Alex shouted, tackling Zara to the ground. Laser fire seared the space where they had stood moments before, scorching the bark of ancient pines. They rolled behind a fallen log, rough bark pressing into their backs. Alex peeked over the top, his eyes scanning for movement. He knew this dance well, the anticipation, the focus, the adrenaline that sharpened his senses. "Can't wait any longer," Zara whispered, clutching her translation device like a talisman. "The ship, they must be close." "Stay here," Alex instructed, his voice a low rumble of determination. He retrieved a small makeshift explosive, a concoction of wilderness ingenuity, and lobbed it toward the bounty hunter's last known location. The forest erupted in sound and light, a brief respite in their deadly game of hide and seek. Alex didn't wait to see the effects. He pulled Zara up, urging her forward. "Now!" They dashed into the clearing, the open sky a canvas waiting to be painted with their salvation. Zara lifted her device high above her head, activating the beacon that would signal the Norathian ship. And then, like a deus ex machina, the heavens answered. A brilliant light split the night, painting the world in stark relief, a vessel descending with the majesty of a falling star. Its hull gleamed like a shard of the midnight sky, radiant and otherworldly. Relief flooded Zara's face, her features aglow with the ship's luminescence. She turned to Alex, her eyes brimming with unspoken words. "Thank you," she mouthed, the simple phrase heavy with the weight of galaxies. Alex nodded, a bittersweet smile tugging at his lips. This was her moment, her victory. But the bounty hunter, undeterred by the celestial display, charged forward with renewed fury. It was a testament to his tenacity, a final desperate attempt to fulfill his mission. Alex intercepted him with a ferocious tackle, the two men grappling on the ground. Fists flew, each punch a punctuation mark in the story they were writing, one of struggle, of defiance, of unwavering courage. As they fought, the Norathian rescue team sprang into action. Like avenging angels, they descended from the ship, their movements precise and lethal. Within moments, they had subdued the bounty hunter, his figure going limp under their expert restraint. "Come," one of the rescuers beckoned to Zara, extending a hand to guide her to safety. With one last glance back, Zara stepped aboard the ship, her silhouette framed by the entryway. A torrent of emotions washed over Alex's pride, sorrow, the hollow ache of farewell. He had seen many leave his life, but none quite like Zara. "May the stars keep you safe, Alex." Zara's voice echoed down to him, amplified by the ship's system. "Your spirit is boundless." He watched as the ship ascended, its lights fading into the vast expanse of the cosmos. And then, with the quiet hush of the night reclaiming the forest, Alex stood alone once more, his gaze lingering on the stars that had borne witness to their incredible journey. The wind whispered through the towering pines, carrying the scent of pine and earth, a balm to Alex's unsettled spirit. He had returned to his solitary existence in the wilds of the Yukon, but the quietude he once cherished now teemed with an undercurrent of restlessness. The trees stood as silent sentinels to his inner turmoil, their branches swaying like the pendulum of his thoughts, back and forth between solitude and the cosmic adventure that had unfolded among them. He found himself tracing paths in the wilderness without purpose, his gaze often lifting to the celestial expanse above. At night, the stars were no longer just pinpricks of light. They were distant worlds, whispering secrets of infinite possibility. Each time his eyes captured the constellation where Norath resided, his heart thrummed with a connection that spanned galaxies, a bond forged with shimmering skin and a spirit as brave as his own. Months slipped by, each day a leaf falling from the calendar of his former life. Then, one evening, as twilight painted the sky in hues of fading orange and purple, the communication device Zara had left behind came to life. Its surface pulsed softly, echoing the rhythm of a living heartbeat. It was as if a piece of Zara, a fragment of Norath, lay there on the wooden table of his cabin, breaking the silence that had become his closest companion. With tentative fingers, Alex reached out and activated the device. A holographic projection of Zara materialized before him, her image flickering like a phantom flame. Her voice, clear and resonant, filled the room, stirring the still air with the promise of reunion. "Alex," she began, her eyes reflecting the strength of her newfound position on Norath. "I have risen, as have the hopes of our people. Your courage has become a tale sung across my world, inspiring others to reach for the stars with bravery." She gave him coordinates precise, demanding action, and a date and time when a ship would arrive to whisk him away from the terrestrial confines of Earth. "Come and see the dawn we've ushered in," Zara implored. "Witness the change you helped ignite." The message ended, leaving a silence that buzzed with unspoken words and uncharted futures. Alex sat motionless, the pulsating glow of the device casting shadows that danced across his rugged features. Here, in this cabin, surrounded by nature's embrace, he contemplated the invitation that lay before him, an invitation not just to visit another world, but to step into a life altered beyond measure by a woman who had fallen from the stars. A sense of purpose, long dormant beneath the layers of his solitude, began to stir within him. It unfurled slowly, reaching towards the call of distant horizons and the allure of standing beside Zara once more. This restless yearning, a newfound hunger for the vastness beyond, was a seed planted during their shared ordeal, now germinating in the fertile soil of his transformed soul. The universe had expanded before him, and with it, the realization that his journey with Zara was far from over. It was a journey that beckoned to him with the promise of a new dawn, a dawn he would witness on the luminous shores of Norath. Alex stood at the edge of the designated clearing, his breath visible in the crisp air. The Yukon's untamed wilderness stretched around him, yet for the first time, it felt like a prelude to something grander. He checked his watch against the sky, where twilight had begun its slow surrender to night. Precisely at the coordinated moment, the fabric of the evening was pierced by a soft hum, and a vessel descended from the stars themselves. Its hull appeared almost liquid, pulsating with hues of violet and cobalt, an ethereal glow against the darkening canvas. Alex squinted, marveling at the seamless blend of alien engineering and natural luminescence. It floated before him, hovering just inches above the ground without leaving so much as a mark on the earth below. "Remarkable," he muttered under his breath, stepping forward as a section of the ship's side silently slid open, inviting him inside. The interior was an extension of the external wonder, bathed in a soothing light that seemed to emanate from the very walls. Translucent panels adorned with enigmatic symbols reacted to his presence, illuminating softly as he passed. Chairs sculpted from a material that had no earthly counterpart shifted subtly to accommodate his form, cradling him as if he were weightless. As the ship ascended, leaving behind the familiar territory, Alex was drawn to the panoramic view. Space unfolded before him in a vast, unfathomable expanse, the stars twinkling like a chorus of distant fires. Nebulas swirled in spirals of jade and deep red, their majesty rendering him speechless. Distant planets hung suspended in the void, each a silent testament to the boundless diversity of the cosmos. Other vessels, sleek and varied in design, darted between the celestial bodies, fleeting glimpses into the lives of those who called the vast expanse home. A profound sense of humility settled over Alex. The solitary life he'd known, once encompassing all he needed, now seemed a mere echo of the grandeur that surrounded him. His heart raced with the thrill of the unknown, every star a light luring him further into the wonders of this greater universe. Time lost its meaning as the ship approached its destination. Norath revealed itself from the darkness, a jewel cradled by the cosmos. Its atmosphere shimmered in a symphony of blue and green, while its surface boasted expanses of glowing forests, their bioluminescent canopies painting the land in radiant splendor. Cities, elegant and organic in shape, melded with the terrain, their designs a harmony of civilization and nature. With the gentlest of touches, the vessel made contact with Norathian soil. The door slid open, and Alex stepped out into a world that was at once alien and welcoming. Zara was there, her skin reflecting the ambient light of her homeworld, her eyes vibrant with the success of her struggle. "Alex," she greeted him, warmth radiating from her voice. "Thank you for coming. There is so much I want to show you." Her gratitude was palpable. Her relief at seeing him again intermingled with pride for the changes she had wrought upon her society. She reached out, taking his hand in hers, an ambassador not only to her world, but to the future they would face together. "Welcome to Norath," she said, her smile a light as bright as any star in the vast sky above them. Guided by Zara's confident stride, Alex wandered through the heart of a sprawling metropolis. where nature and technology coexisted in perfect harmony. Towering structures spiraled into the sky, their surfaces alive with a pulsating glow that mirrored the bioluminescent forests surrounding the city. Everywhere he looked, verdant plant life intertwined with sleek metal and glass, a testament to Norath's commitment to the environment. Each building is designed to coexist with the planet's ecosystem, Zara explained, her voice brimming with enthusiasm. Our energy is clean, drawn from the core of Norath itself, and our water, as clear as the lakes you see, is endlessly recycled and purified. In the center of a plaza stood a group of individuals, their attire as diverse as the roles they played in shaping this new world. They turned as one to greet Alex, offering nods and smiles of welcome that needed no translation. Zara introduced them as the architects of change, the scientists who engineered the harmony between flora and circuitry, and the leaders who championed equality and justice. Without their courage and ingenuity, she said, gesturing to her allies, none of this would be possible. Alex absorbed their stories, each narrative weaving into the next, revealing a history of struggle and triumph. He learned of their social reforms, how every citizen now had a voice in governance, and how education and healthcare were universal rights rather than privileges. As night fell, the cityscape transformed. Bioluminescence suffused every corner with an ethereal glow, blurring the lines between the natural and the artificial. Alex stood at the edge of an overlook, peering down at the radiant splendor of Norath, his mind reeling with the possibilities that such a society held. "Come," Zara urged gently, directing him to a secure facility that stood apart from the harmonious blend of the city. Within its walls, a more somber reality awaited. Encased in a containment unit, the bounty hunter sat, his expression unreadable. The room was stark and sterile, but the air thrummed with the gravity of what was about to transpire. Norathian officials, their faces etched with determination, commenced the interrogation with a translator device that filled the room with the hunter's guttural dialect. "I was sent by those who fear change," the bounty hunter confessed, his voice void of remorse yet tinged with defeat. "They sought to extinguish the hope she represents." His gaze flickered to Zara, who stood firm, embodying the resistance's ideals. The revelation of the oppressive regime's plans, spoken aloud in the cold confines of the chamber, cracked the veneer of silence that had shrouded their atrocities. Whispers of discontent had stirred among the populace before, but the hunter's words were the catalyst that set the whispers ablaze with the fire of reform. "His testimony will dismantle the remnants of the old guard," Zara whispered to Alex, her shimmering eyes reflecting not just the light, but the dawning of a new era for Norath. For Alex, the weight of the moment settled upon him, a mix of admiration for the strength of the people around him, and an understanding that his own world could learn much from theirs. As they stepped back into the luminescent embrace of the night, he realized that the journey he'd embarked upon was far greater than he could have ever imagined. Alex trailed behind Zara, his feet sinking softly into the mossy floor of Norath's bioluminescent forest. The canopy above was a living display of light, each leaf and branch gently pulsating with iridescent hues that painted their faces in a kaleidoscope of colors. In this ethereal glow, Zara's shimmering skin seemed to dance with the forest's rhythm, her figure blending harmoniously with the surroundings. "Can you imagine, Alex?" Zara spoke, her voice a soft melody that merged seamlessly with the whisper of the luminescent flora. "A future where our worlds are not just aware of each other but actively working together, where the exchange of knowledge and culture fosters an era of unparalleled progress." Alex watched her closely, taking in the conviction in her eyes. Here, amidst the radiant beauty of her home planet, she appeared even more charismatic, her presence commanding yet benevolent. He had journeyed across the stars, far from the icy solitude of the Yukon, to stand by her side on a world that defied all his former understandings of life and possibility. "Unity," he murmured, testing the weight of the word. "It's a bold vision, Zara, but after everything I've seen here, it feels like the next step for us all." He skimmed his hand over a nearby fern, its glow intensifying at his touch. Zara stopped and faced him, her luminous gaze holding his. "With your help, we can bridge the divide between our peoples. You've shown me how one individual's courage can shift the tides. Imagine what we could achieve together." In her eyes, he saw reflections of Earth, his home, and understood that the solitary life he once led had prepared him for this moment. His resilience, kindled in the frost-bitten wilderness, now emboldened him to embrace a wider purpose alongside his newfound allies. They continued their walk in contemplative silence, the only sound the symphony of light around them. The forest seemed to be breathing with life, its energy ebbing and flowing like the breath of the planet itself. As they emerged into a clearing, the night sky of Norath stretched endlessly above them, dotted with countless stars and distant galaxies. It was a vista that humbled and exhilarated him simultaneously. Alex felt a stirring within a sense of duty, not just to the expanse before him, but to the fragile blue orb that was his origin. "Then let's make it happen," he said with determination, his voice cutting through the stillness. "Let's build that future." Zara nodded, her smile radiant as the landscape. The forest around them seemed to echo her approval, its glow crescendoing into a brilliant display of affirmation. The scene closed with Alex standing beside Zara, both facing the starlit horizon. The world of Norath lay before them, a canvas of potential and promise, and somewhere beyond, the Earth awaited the dawn of this new alliance. As the bioluminescence pulsed in steady beats around them, the story concluded with a sense of hope, a shared dream of unity and collaboration between two worlds, one that would ripple through the cosmos for generations to come.